and welcome back to Mounties Midweek. I'm Drew Patrick. On today's show, we review the busy week that was, we preview softball's throwback game with head coach Edith Gallagher, and I go out of my league with this softball team. Mansfield University Interim Director of Athletics Chris Decker has announced that John Senesi will serve as interim head coach of the men's basketball program. Senesi has served as an assistant coach with the Mountaineer men's basketball team since 2014, assisting in all aspects of the program. In his time at Mansfield, Senesi helped coach all 5 PSACE selections, including the program's all-time leading scorer, Joe Bell. Senesi replaces Pat Zipfel, who resigned as head coach last week to return to the NBA with the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Mountaineers opened the 2018-19 season at the Shaw University Tournament November 10th and 11th. The field hockey team had 2 games this past week. First, they traveled to Mercyhurst on Wednesday. Let's jump to the second half. Larissa Motz on the pass from Emily Sadowski knocks the contest at 1. Then minutes later, junior Dana Evans gathers up the shot and buries it home. The win improved the Mountaineers to 4-1 overall, making it the best start for the program since the 2008 season. Wednesday's victory also snapped a 6-game losing streak to Mercyhurst. Here was head coach Brittany Hansbrough and Dana Evans after the game.
That was a tough battle for sure. We did our job in getting getting enough goals to make it count to get the win, but it was definitely scary. So we definitely, I think, need to come up with just regroup. We're going to look at film, break it down, and see where our breakdowns were, because we need to just learn and grow from every single game. And I think there's probably a lot to learn from this game. I'm super glad we got the win. Don't get me wrong. But that was a close one. I definitely do look at the big picture. After a couple breaths, probably like 5 minutes down the road, I'm going to be like, okay, here's what we did really, really well. I'm just always thinking about, all right, what can we do to improve and make sure that we're not putting ourselves in sticky situations again?
Feels really good. This was a game we prepared a long time for. We worked really hard yesterday in practice. We really focused on our passing patterns, and I think it showed today because both of our goals were off of those. So it's just really nice to see all of our hard work paying off.
The Mounties return home Saturday to take on the 2-time defending national champion Shippensburg Raiders. The Mounties struck first. And we'll toss this one into Byer off the foot. Here's a chance. Will it sneak through? Yes! That's a goal for the Mounties! Larissa Motz got the last touch. And the Mounties take the lead. The Raiders then went on a run of 5 straight goals before Christy Byer finally breaks through right here. In front, trying to fight it forward. It sneaks in. That's a goal for Mansfield. It's Christy Byer. And then later on, Amber Prince added another goal, but it was not enough, and the Raiders get the victory 6-3. The 3 goals by the Mounties were the second most allowed to an opponent by Shippensburg this season. Mansfield has scored at least 2 goals in all 6 contests. But there was little rest for this field hockey team as they were back in action this Tuesday. The Mounties welcome Millersville this Saturday for a battle under the lights at 6 p.m. The Sprint football team hit the road on Friday to travel to Chestnut Hill. The Mounties struck first as it was Adam Hutchison to Quinn Henry for the opening score. The Griffins would then open up a huge gap, and they would lead 38-6 at the half. Third quarter, Mansfield trying to cut the lead. Gary Roppers finds Amir Pope, and the score, it was 52-14 heading into the final quarter. Roppers finds Jaden Walker, who does the rest and punches it in. Mansfield adds a 2-point conversion. It's 52-22. After an onside kick, Hutchison drives in and the ball sneaks out, but Walker right there and says, "I'll take this in." A score and another 2 to score 52-30. After a bounce to Chestnut Hill on the ensuing onside kick that allowed the Griffins to score, Mansfield still had no quit in them. Walker again barreling through, make that 59-38. Mansfield converts a third onside kick, and Hutchison finds Henry once again. The 2-point conversion, however, failed, and the Mounties run out of time. The final score, 59-44. Adam Hutchison was 15 for 26 for 216 yards and 2 touchdown tosses, and Gary Roppers had 127 yards and 2 scores through the air. The Sprint football squad is back in action on Friday as they travel to face the United States Naval Academy. The soccer team took to the pitch Sunday for Play with Pride Week against Clarion. Clarion had 2 goals in the first half, and in the second, Mansfield trying to cut into the lead. It's Bria Bittiger with the goal. The comeback falls just short, and the Golden Eagles get the victory. Freshman Brianna Royce had 10 saves in her first career start. The Mountaineers return to action Wednesday with another home game as they host Millersville University at 4:30 p.m. The Mountaineer cross-country teams return to action on Saturday at Lock Haven University's invite. The men ran an 8K and the women a 6K. It was the team's first race since September 8th. Ryan Clifford recorded a top 5 finish with a time of 25:52.1, and junior Quincy Amabile finished 11th overall, just 3 seconds out of the top 10, with a time of 26:09.4. The women were led by Kenzie Jones, who ran the 6K in 22:25.9. Her performance landed her at 14th place, and Lindsay Payne with a time of 23:14.6, which landed her at 33rd. The Mountaineers travel to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania for the Paul Short invite this weekend. Let's take a look at what is upcoming this week for Mountaineer athletes. Don't go anywhere, Sports Talk is coming up.
It's all part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven conveniently located, yet worlds apart. A place where you can kick back, unwind, and forget about the pressures of life. Disconnect and reconnect with your friends, family, or even yourself while surrounded by nature's beauty. So start planning your adventures today at visitpottertioga.com.
Welcome back here with more Sports Talk. Let's talk Sprint football now as we're joined by DJ McLean and Adam Hutchison. Thank you both so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having us.
So let's start with this past week. Of course, the game didn't go the way we would have liked, but a valiant comeback there at the end. What were some of the keys to that fourth quarter?
Just not giving up. Understanding that we do have a young team, but we have a young team that's ready to go, do anything for us. A lot of these young guys are talented and will run through a brick wall for us, which is, I appreciate that, having that young core that can really help us a lot.
Yeah, I think once we got this one score in, just the energy that came around it, kids just started believing again. Once you start believing, you're just going to be able to do things that we actually didn't think we could do. We put up more points than we ever had in the past. So once that started, these young guys figured, okay, we can still do this. And it just rolled on from there.
How important is it for you two, especially as the upperclassmen on this team, with a team that's just chock full of freshmen, to be those leaders and to try and keep everyone's head up in a game that in that first half it got away from us? How do you as the upperclassmen, keep everyone mentally focused on the game?
I mean, we say it all the time that like our attitudes dwindle down with people. Like, so if we have an attitude, all the kids are gonna see it, like the freshmen are gonna see it, and they're just gonna be like, okay, if they can throw an attitude, we can do it too, and like have a problem. So like we just try to keep ourselves level-headed, and like no matter if good thing, bad thing happens, we always just try to tell ourselves it's the next play. We try to just keep everybody in the game, because like if it comes down to it, and like we get down, everybody else can get down. So that's just when it just spirals out of control.
It's tough, man, because I sometimes I forget that there's always going to be eyes looking at me, so I do have my moments, but like you said, our energy is contagious, and if we give out good energy 9 out of 10 times, these young guys are going to feed back with good energy. So vice versa, if we give out bad energy, they're going to reply with bad energy. So we just got to remain calm and be this backbone for this great freshman class.
And along that line, with this monster freshman class and with you guys being the upperclassmen for this team, not only for this past game, which you touched on, but how important is it throughout the entire year to really lead by example for this group? Because there's people right behind you looking up who might not always get the college atmosphere.
It's tough. It's a big transition for these young guys. So it's rough. Trying to balance school and balance football at the same time. So it's always good to continue to give that guidance and remind them that we was just in their shoes. So to continuously help them and remind them of that, I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, I think just going to class, showing everything that like we do. Like, I mean, when we came in as freshmen, like we were just thrown into a huge college world that like we thought, oh, we don't have to go to class or anything. But like our mindset changed to like us just going to class, showing up to things, like showing how we're on time, and like even we're not even on time, we're early. We're always sitting in like room for meetings and everything. Like we're there. I think that's just gonna dwindle down. Like so when they're gonna understand after a while like why we do the things we do. So they're gonna start showing the new freshmen after each year and everything like that, and it just keeps us all together. It just shows everything out.
And so let's shift gears now. This week, it doesn't get any easier. With Navy, you guys travel down there on a Friday. I asked Coach Conrad this, and perhaps it's different for you, but for the freshmen whose bodies really is used to playing on a Friday, is that a plus or is that a minus because it's still a short week for all you guys?
I think it's a plus. A lot of these guys full of energy. We got to have short-term memory, but a lot of these guys are full of energy, so they're ready to go. And I think we prepare. If we prepare right, a lot of these guys, we start off with a good start. We always start really well. It's all about us just finishing the game and finishing that fourth quarter.
I mean, I'm with him. It's a plus. It's a minus. I don't know if anybody's ever traveled as far as like we have to go for in a day to play a game. I think the atmosphere there's not gonna be that many people there, but I mean, playing at the D1 stadium and everything, like kids are gonna be like nervous about it, like wow, they're gonna be overwhelmed. But I also think it's gonna be a plus that they play on Friday nights before, like, and we have like I think we play more Friday night games than I've played in the last 4 years. So I mean, I think it's different for us. Like we have to get back into the Friday night mentality, and they just came out of high school where you usually play on Friday nights. So I think it might be an advantage to us, but I mean, it's gonna be a tough game either way.
Well, how do you keep the eyes and the focus on, the atmosphere walking into that stadium, and how do you keep the eyes shrunk that way they don't get big and deer in the headlights kind of look?
Well, so my first year, I was actually I was a deer in the headlights, and I had this big jumbotron, and it was a play where I got hit, and I like watched myself on the jumbotron, and I just laid there. But other than that, just understanding why we're down there, and reminding these guys constantly that this is a business trip. It's good to enjoy yourself and enjoy where you at, enjoy the experience. But we came here to handle business, and I think if we continuously stress that and lead these guys by example, I think anything is possible.
I mean, you can also, if we get there early enough, you can show them the stadium. Like that's what happened. Was that my sophomore year with him, his freshman year? Like they showed us the stadium. Like it was overwhelming at first, but when you go out there, it's just another field. I mean, it's the same length as the one out here, Van Norman. So, I mean, just to get them. Once the first play happens, I think everything will be fine. But I mean, it is a different atmosphere, like you said on the jumbotron. Like you just look up and you just watch it, and you're just like, wow. Now I feel like important, but I mean, I think kids will calm down after like the first play or first possession once they go out there. It's just another game, just another field too.
And Hutch, I mentioned this, that you're kind of a utility knife type player on the team, the quarterback and kicker punter extraordinaire. How important, especially at this level, at the sprint football level, is it to be a guy who can do multiple things?
I mean, when I came in freshman year, I told them I could kick too if they needed me to, and they just kind of laughed. And they were like, yeah, okay, you'll play quarterback, and that's it. But I mean, like, once it came down to, like, we needed a kicker, this and that, like last year when Sean Carlin got hurt, they're like, who's going to punt? And so they just said, go punt, and I haven't punted in years. But I mean, like, it really helps our team to the point where, like, I know, like, I think too much, but, like, showing that, like, you can do other things. Like, if you can do it, it's whatever helps the team, and that's, like, what I wanted to do. So, like, if I just needed to be the kicker at that point, like, I'll be the kicker at that point, and I'll just do the best I can. So, like, I think it just should help show that, like, it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as it helps the team, and, like, you're a team sport, so you just need to do it that way.
And then, DJ, when you see a player who's willing to do multiple things, how does that rally the rest of you guys?
That says a lot, and like what he just said, it speaks volumes. Understanding that we did have a lot of young quarterbacks coming in, and knowing that he may not win that quarterback spot, but he can do other things, shows that, being able to do whatever you can to help your team, says a lot and speaks volumes.
Let's talk game plan for this Navy matchup. Offensively, you guys mentioned you start quick. What is going to be the key to keep that going throughout the game?
Just keeping our energy up. I don't know what you want to sidelines. And after Luma and after this past week, once we scored, everybody just got relaxed. So I think we need to, continuously keep that energy up and understand that we can put up as many points as 30 points a game, and it's possible with anybody. And I think our biggest thing is, we can play up to people's levels, and we can also play down to people's levels. So I think if, once we see Navy and understand that we can play with these guys, and we just continue to play that game that we can, it's no ceiling.
I just think we need to understand that they're just the same kids that we are. They're all 20, 19, 18, 21, like whatever. They're all our same age. Like he said, like, keep the energy up. I mean, we always go down once we go 3 and out. Like, one time, it's like we just went from really, like, we're all up here, like, ready to play, and then all of a sudden we just drop every time we go 3 and out. But it's like there's no team in the NFL, college that goes perfectly down the field every time. Even like Alabama and like all them do it. They all go 3 and out. But like, we just gotta keep our energy up the whole time and just understand that, like, we're all the same age. Like, we're just playing another game.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for stopping by here.
Thank you.
Sports Talk continues after this. Don't go anywhere. Let's shift gears now and let's talk some women's cross country as we're joined by Lindsay Payne. Thank you so much for stopping by. So let's start with this past week at Lock Haven. How did you feel that you raced?
I had a 46-second PR, so I feel like it really went well, especially having, a 5K PR and then coming back a few weeks later and having a 6K PR. It's a definite good starter feeling to the season.
So this is kind of the middle of the season. Cross country is very unique in the way that you approach the year. So going from early season to the middle of the season, what are the things that kind of shift, and what are your focuses here in the middle-ish of the season?
We're doing a lot of weights this season, so we're thankfully having kind of a rest week because Paul Short is one of the biggest invitationals that we will be going to. And I had the opportunity to train down there this summer, so I kind of got a little bit of a course preview, but definitely we've been hammering a lot of weights and just keeping it going.
So you mentioned earlier that you've had a couple of PRs this year. How has your summer training really helped, especially this year? You're up there close to the top.
Yeah, Kenzie is a great teammate to have and a great teammate to learn from, especially, it's her senior year. And Last year, I had a bit of a rough transition from the high school to the collegiate level, but summer training went really well, and it's provided me a really good base to build from. So, having these PRs, these big PRs early on is definitely key.
That high school right here in Mansfield.
Yeah.
Was that different at all? Because, you kind of are practicing in the same areas, with a little more here at college.
I've had the same area experience, but I was not doing the higher mileage. So, I did the speed workouts, I got the weights in, but getting the more miles and doing, 45, 50 miles a week was definitely key.
So for this big invitational coming up, the Paul Short Invitational, what is going to be your key to have a successful race?
Well, there's going to be a lot of more bodies in there. There were 220 bodies at Lock Haven, but I'm not honestly sure. There's probably going to be at least 300. And definitely when running a 6K, you have to go out hard and approach it hard, but you cannot get drug out, too hard, because, the difference between being all conference and, making it to those big goals is finishing it in the last 2K and who can hold on the most. So just going out, remaining calm, but building throughout and, hammering that last 2K.
And so what is your goal for the season coming up? We're here in the middle of the season. Ultimately, at the end of the year, what's going to be your goal?
At the end of the season, basically, I want to remain healthy. That's a really big one because this year is actually a festival year for us, so we're racing a little later. We're not going to get that Thanksgiving break off. We're going to have to keep continuing to go into indoor. But a big goal for me, I'm probably to break 23 and go into the 22s a little bit. So.
And you mentioned indoor and outdoor season also. How has that helped training to be able to really train and compete all year long? How has that helped your progression?
Indoor is definitely unique. I had never done it until last year, so it was a big change, but indoor is it's definitely a lot of fun, and I think it's a good starter to when you get into outdoor. And we're hosting PSACs here outdoors, so that's going to be definitely really exciting.
Home track advantage there.
Yeah, home track advantage, home crowd.
Absolutely, it'll be great. And hopefully this race this weekend will be great for you. Lindsay, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
And Sports Talk rolls on after this.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student-athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student-athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student-athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Welcome back here with more sports talk. Let's shift gears and let's talk some softball, as it's not quite into the season, but hey, we're still playing. Edith Gallagher has joined me, the coach. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
So this week is a big week for the softball program. It's the Throwback game. What goes into this huge event?
Well, it's an event that we started a number of years ago in conjunction with, now they call it Heritage Weekend here in town, and the university, it's the Family Day. So we do a throwback game in honor of the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, and you've seen our throwback uniforms, and so it's also Parents Weekend, so we have all our parents in, and we throw a big game, and we get some local youth teams that come, and so it's just a great time.
And what are some of the things this year that people going to these games can really look out for?
Well, we have Katie Herring-James, who will be here this year, and she played in the original league, so she will do autographs usually after the third inning. So she'll be in, I think, the first base dugout, and you can get in line and she'll do an autograph of one of your items. You bring your own item. Mm-hmm. And then the Little League teams or the youth teams that we have, they'll line up with the team for the national anthem. and then we'll play the game, and then we have our parents tailgate afterwards.
So let's talk about those uniforms with the skirts. I had a chance to be put in one of those, which you guys can see this week on Out of His League, where definitely it was as far out of my league as I could be. But what are really the challenges in playing in these kind of uniforms?
Well, so the league was created back during the war when they were afraid that a lot of the stars of the Major League Men's Baseball would be leaving for the war. They would be drafted. So there was a big, this is when women didn't leave the home. So when the war happened and women were going into the factory and they made this league to try and draw people, femininity there was charm school. This was part of the league. So there was, so the dresses weren't for, realistic play. It was, a way to attract men to come to the games. So the challenges are, obviously, you have to have a bloomer or some kind of short underneath, but sliding is very hard. You get a lot of, torn, knees or raspberries. But, there was a time they played softball in shorts, too. The Olympians wore shorts. So it's just an interesting thing. And pitching. The pitchers, so in the All-American Professional Girls Baseball League, they threw overhand. But for softball, and we reenact it as a softball game, the pitchers, do the windmill, which you were trying to do in your skirt. Now, your uniform was modified for a pitcher. So pitchers have a tighter skirt so that they don't hit it with their hand on the way by. The others have a little bit more width to their skirts.
And this is also the preseason for you. You've had a couple of games in the preseason, but your preseason actually is unique because you actually can compete in this preseason. How does that help getting towards this season?
Yeah, well, they actually call this part, the fall, is called our non-championship season. So you're allowed to compete. You're allowed to do different, things with the team. And then when you come back in January, that'd be technically your preseason. But it's really beneficial to us because you're outside. You have the nice weather. Fall is gorgeous here in Pennsylvania. And we have 8 rookies, so we're able to, go through things that we can't do when we're just inside the gym necessarily. So, and you get to play some different competition and kind of, you really get to have a feel for how the team dynamics work and what works before we just jump on the field in March. So.
And is it a benefit, especially with the newcomers, that they can get the college experience and the playing early on in their year? That way they're not waiting and then all of a sudden it's thrown at them?
Yeah, absolutely. And the nice thing is it doesn't count towards your record right now. So, like fall sports don't get to do this, but we get to try out rookies in different positions and things when, wins and losses aren't on the line. It's still, you want to win and you're playing to win, but it's okay if I try to play second base and I haven't before. It's a good time to play around with some different positions and different lineups that you wouldn't be able to do if in March when the wins and losses are on the line.
And who out of the team early on in this year has really stood out, and you can see that they put in the work over the summer? And has there been anyone really has caught fire?
Well, it's really hard to say. We only played one weekend so far. We played Alfred University and we played Penn College. We did a great job overall, but because there was only 4 practices before that, it wasn't anybody able to have like a breakout. But there's a number of upperclassmen that really worked hard in the weight room, and you will see those gains. It wasn't obvious in the first opening weekend.
All right, well, Coach, thank you so much for stopping by here.
Great, thanks for having me.
And Mounties Midweek rolls on after this.
It's a small community, close-knit, it's beautiful. Now, as we join UPMC, it just opens a whole new world.
Together, UPMC and Susquehanna Health are bringing life-changing medicine to North Central Pennsylvania.
UPMC brings extraordinary innovation to virtually every aspect of the work we do.
Exchanging ideas, sharing research, it's a tremendous opportunity to learn in real time with world-class experts.
Changing lives every day. UPMC Susquehanna.
Hey everybody, I'm Drew Patrick. This is the Mansfield softball team, and today I am out of my league. Let's go. I'm mic'd up today, so.
This foot here.
All right.
This foot here. They both have to touch the rubber.
Okay. Oh, my cleats? You know what the funniest thing about these is they're not even like actual cleats. They're theater cleats, literally is what they are. I was in Damn Yankees and I stole them from that. They're not even real cleats. Like, I'm the worst right now.
Okay, ready?
Look at that. Do those look like real cleats to you?
Both feet on the mound. They both
right.
put over here.
Okay.
Okay. Your arms gotta be apart.
All right.
Okay, touch. Swing back.
Oh.
Go forward, you're gonna go into a star. Put this glove
Okay.
in here.
Okay.
And you're gonna come straight through.
And then, all right.
Don't bring this glove over here. Put your glove like straight down.
Okay. All right.
Now slow-mo. Don't throw it. Okay, ready? You're gonna stay standing.
Yes.
Back. Star. Throw. Bring that back foot forward.
Okay. Okay, I'll get this maybe in 20 tries. All right, so present, back, step.
Forward. Perfect. Now all together. And throw it.
All right, prepare to like either jump or have it roll to you. I know my skill level.
You release right here.
Okay. Do I already forget how to do this? Yes.
Oh, that was good.
Not terrible.
No.
Not terrible. All right.
Close. A little closer.
All right.
Yeah, I'm a good teacher.
All right. Nope.
Closer.
I think this is,
One more.
look, if I throw a strike, I'll be happy. Let's be honest.
Make it a little more fluid. One motion.
Okay.
Oh, we're getting there.
I went to the other side of the plate this time. Getting there.
Make it move.
It's now only 3-0, all right? Haven't quite walked him yet. Maybe hit him, but
In your theater cleats.
in my theater cleats. Thank you. Nope.
Oh.
That's a hit by pitch. All right, let's try to get one strike here.
You gotta step towards Hannah. Point your glove and step at her.
So, all right. All right, I got it.
This one's gonna be a strike. Strike. I'm calling it.
They have faith.
Okay, wait. After you throw it, you gotta follow through and show your elbow to Hannah.
Okay. Oh, God! That one was the worst of them, so y'all faith has been denied.
Progressively getting worse.
I'm thinking too much. That must be it.
Yeah,
I'm
don't
thinking
think, just
too
throw.
much. All right.
Pretend you don't even know what you're doing. Just throw it.
I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, but that. I'll get one. I'll get one. Maybe. Look, if I get 1 out of 10, I'll be happy.
Oh, almost.
All right. It happened! I have officially now can retire from softball. I threw a strike.
Yeah. Forever.
All right. Okay, so we got to do a couple things here.
Oh, God.
The first is, since I am in this lovely, lovely outfit, we have the throwback game coming up in a little bit. What is, honestly, on the field, what is the hardest thing to do in these unis?
Catch. Pitch.
All right. Fair enough.
Slide.
Getting dirt.
Sliding. You get dirt everywhere.
Yeah, I could see where that could be a problem. Okay, so that wasn't great. But on a scale, a grading scale, A to F, what would you grade that?
The last one was about a C.
Yeah, the rest.
Because it was a strike. The rest were Fs.
Yeah.
All right, so that grades out to about a D
Minus.
minus. You know what? I'll take it.
I don't know, for
to
your
be
first
honest.
time, I'd give you like a B-.
Wow, that's the highest score I've gotten on anything.
First one, yeah. But like, you never pitched before, so I give you
All right. And then on a grading scale of me rocking this.
definitely an
Right
A+.
down to the cleats.
Right down to my theater
You
cleats.
didn't get the A+.
Okay. There's one A+ on the year. All right. So, you know what? I'm not a pitcher, but you know what? They did say I think I pull this off very well. I've committed to the bit right down to the theater cleats. But it was fun. And go check out their throwback game. That's the 29th. You won't want to miss it.
Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference.
Oh, what a play!
18 universities.
How competitive is this?
23 championships.
It's over. We have new PSAC champs.
7,100 student athletes. Make the PSAC yours.
My PSAC is passion.
My PSAC is pride.
PSAC is Pennsylvania.
Passion, pride, Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference.
Before we blow that final whistle, it is time for Play of the Week. Last week it was football and field hockey, and based on your votes, this was your winner. This week, field hockey makes another appearance with Dana Evans' game-winning goal against Mercyhurst.
Don't stand behind them,
The opponent is Bria Bittiger of the soccer team. Jaden De Palma splits two defenders with the pass, and Bittiger shoots for the goal.
Shoot!
There you have it, Dana Evans versus Bria Bittiger. To vote, head over to Mounting All Access on Twitter, and results will be revealed next week. That's the show for you this week, and for all your Mansfield Mountaineer news, head over to GoMounties.com. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.